What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate, reverse rants, no hate. Listen, I just want to get this off my chest real quick. Artur Beterbiev versus Dmitry Bivol. This was a fight that I said, this needs to happen. And, Beterbiev is like much older than Bivol. And it's like, you want to get this fight in while he still has it, because it gets to the point where too much time goes by, the fight either doesn't happen or the fight happens and it doesn't deliver the way that it could have, because in this case, not both guys being older, but just one. And it does nothing for Bivol to be the guy that's washed up. So while Beterbiev is still potent, still, strong, and still has it, this fight, it's happening. They're delivering it. Look, I listen. Let's just say thanks to the Saudis that this fight is happening. Because, this has been a while. This has been a fight for a couple of years now. People have been talking about. Now, let me know in the comment section who y'all got, in this fight. But listen, it's here. It's here. And this is going to be the main event. And then you're going to have Wilder versus Zhang on this card. Listen, y'all, this is what it's about. This right here is what it's about. Look, let's try to put the best fights that we possibly can on and make it happen, man. And the beautiful thing about this, man, is, like I said, being able to watch a card and feel like, okay, a lot of times on paper, a fight don't add up like it does on paper when it actually unfolds, but at least the effort to, hey, we getting the best versus the best, or, the better situations of, at least putting the top names in there against each other. So that's a huge step up from one main event and a garbage card, it just doesn't, it shouldn't happen. It doesn't make sense. And these cards that the Saudis are putting on, the pay-per-views are super affordable. You look at the quality of fights you're getting and think how you sit here and pay $80-something in the States for a trash card. And I gotta say it like it is. So this is cool, man. This is cool. But you know what looks so funny to me? And I say this shit should have happened a long time ago. To see Eddie Hearn sitting there with old fish-eyed Frank Warren and these guys, business partners, and making these fights happen, instead of going at each other and acting like a couple of sissies, and people don't want their guy to fight this guy because they're from different promotions and all this stupid nonsense. And hey, man, make the fights happen, make this money. That's what the sport needs. And I told you guys, man, all this fake beef, this hypocritical nonsense, when I hear guys talk trash about people with so much anger and hatred, but then they get in front of them and it's different. It didn't look funny to y'all to see Eddie Hearn and Wilder sitting next to each other like that. Now, Eddie Hearn has always gave Wilder props and called him a dangerous guy. He's always dangerous because of the, right hand. Then Wilder would talk shit, and Eddie would say, I don't rate him. He doesn't rate him skill-wise. Neither do I. It's the right hand. So we know that's when you talk about danger, right? Where is his danger at? It's the right hand. But like he always says, man, because they talk, they smack. But isn't it funny how Eddie Hearn went from being a liar, two-faced, he's fake, I don't respect him, to now all of a sudden they're business partners. Even if for one night only. But isn't it funny how people can come together when they want to? This is what I'm saying, man. Like, we don't need this circus nonsense in boxing, man. Like, make this money. Make the fights happen, man. Make it happen. What have we been saying about Tank Davis' career? How the PBC want to try to keep everything in-house. They don't want to see Tank fight a Matchroom guy or at the Zone or somebody from on a different platform. They don't want to see that. Why? Let them come over here to the PBC and then we can make the fight happen. It's like, so basically you'll just have a whole career of, I made a lot of money and there's a lot of fights I could have had that I didn't have. But I'm good because I was still making big money. So you make big money, take less risks, even though the challenges are out there. Well, hell, they're not PBC. So no, we don't need that. So the vision that Turkey has is basically, yeah, we're going to do what these other guys are not doing. In fact, we're going to do what they can't do. You understand what I mean? Because even like, for example, let's just be real. That's why I said, don't get so used to these big numbers when it comes to pay-per-views. Don't think it's going to be every single time. Notice how nobody's talking about Tank Davis versus this guy, Frank Martin. You don't see much talk about it. And it's not that Frank Martin's not a good fighter, but him versus Tank, well, we know who the star is. Now, what the numbers are going to do, we'll see. I'm not really focused and don't really give a shit about all that personally. Me, I don't really care about that. It's the fight itself. But I'm saying that for the fact that what's the rest of the card going to look like? Nobody. So my thing, they're not talking about Gervonta Tank Davis versus Frank Martin. They're not talking about the rest of the card either. They're not talking about anybody on the undercard. So you don't even hear any real talk about this fucking fight. So hopefully the Saudis can keep the ball rolling and they can start to get, the lightweights, the middleweights, the welterweights, and all that. They can get those guys on this card as well at some point. But yeah, this is I'm just sitting here watching and said, wow, because I can sit here and go back. I can put a little montage together for every time Wilder said AJ and Hearn are fake. They say one thing and do another. They lies. I don't respect them. And now all of a sudden you're sitting next to them and you guys are on good terms, right? We know Wilder's good for that shit. He'll talk shit about you, then get in front of you and shake your hand and smile, and everything's all good, and tap his chest, and so it's like, okay, cool. It's happening though. So, yeah, but Bivol versus Beterbiev, this is definitely necessary. Now, whoever wins this pretty much is on the top, of the top. Okay, they're at the top of the food chain at light heavyweight division. Now, for Dmitry Bivol, is who I'm pulling for to win this fight. Like I've said, this man beat Canelo because Canelo came to 175 and decided, I'm going to come up here, fight this guy, take his belt. It didn't happen. There'll probably be a rematch between the two, Bivol and Beterbiev, but this is his time right now to do what he's doing. And you know what? David Benavidez has said he's going to 175 because he wants Canelo. Canelo doesn't want him. Now, David Morrell is still at 168. That's another fight I would have liked to see him at 168. But if anything, and people talking about Ben Whitaker, like, nah, come on, stop. Ben Whitaker doesn't even have, I don't even think he got 10 fights yet. Ben Whitaker still fighting 8-rounders, man. Stop it. We're not putting Ben Whitaker in the ring with Bivol at this point. Not a guy that's just still doing 8-rounders. So, bottom line is, if Benavidez goes to 175, he goes up there and he wins, especially. That'll be his big fight. You understand? And that'll be a big fight for both guys. Now, can Benavidez beat Bivol? That's what we want to see. Who's the best? And I think that would be the best move for Benavidez, for the simple fact that no matter who he fought, Canelo name constantly comes up. Him and his dad has been trying to get the fight with Canelo for the longest. Canelo he doesn't want to fight him. It's as simple as that. So Bivol and Benavidez may wind up being rivals. And that would be good for both guys. Now, when you look at it, for Beterbiev, because he's 38, 39 now, so for him, how much longer he's going to be around, I don't know. But at some point, once again, Bivol, let's say Beterbiev wins. Let's just say if he wins, still rematch. And if Benavidez makes any noise at 175, man, like he's saying, eventually he wins, And it might not take 3-4 fights. I don't know. This is the era of skipping the line. So maybe he skips the line. Or maybe he has one fight, and then after that, he skips the line. Hey, look. Bivol and Beterbiev is not popular in the States. So I look at it like, when you look at who's who, this fight is happening in Saudi Arabia. Doesn't mean Americans is not going to buy the pay-per-view. But the point of these fighters, like, not being like, getting the recognition because they're not from here. Well, it all depends on who you fight, what platforms you are on to be seen, because there's fighters that don't fight in America, that's never been here. Some only been here one time. And I don't care about the popularity contest. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm getting at is the fact that I think it's really fucked up that Bivol put the ass whooping on Canelo like he did. And still, when you say Bivol's name, a lot of people are like, who? Dmitry Bivol, the guy that beat Canelo. Oh, that's his name? Oh, okay, yeah. Like right off the bat, his name doesn't ring a bell. But Beterbiev is another one who, these guys, America has failed to push their stars. What America has done is they've got boxing being seen as it's a chosen few type of situation. And for that reason alone, the casuals will sit back and go, who are we supposed to be cheering for? Oh, he's the popular guy. Okay, what's his name again? Let me write that down so I don't forget it. This is what you see going on. So, like, my whole thing is when I watch fights, and I don't really care about all of this, like, where you from nonsense, but even to just look and say, you look at the Terrence Crawfords, the Tank Davises, the Devin Haney's. When these guys are not in the ring fighting, and it's all about money and guys, asking for too much, or guys not wanting to pay a certain amount, or whatever it may be. This is where my point is, where the Saudis come in and those problems are over. So if you don't want to be seen on those platforms, you don't want to be seen on that Saudi platform because you don't want to fight who they want you to fight, it doesn't say anything really good about you. And they made the offer to Tank Davis for that example. And they're trying to get him and Devin Haney. And he told them they better have 2 Ferraris outside of his house just to get him to come there. So, it reminds me of, like, I did a video where, referencing, like, Sean Porter. He said that for a new way to become superstar, if that's what he wants, he's going to have to come and knock out some Americans on American soil. And it's like, no, not really. Let's be real. If Tank Davis and Devin Haney fought on that Saudi card, that's more exposure. I'm pretty sure there's people over there that don't know who Devin Haney is or don't know who Tank Davis is. I'm sure that there's many that do know, but I'm pretty sure there's many that don't even know who they are. You see what I'm saying? So my thing is to become a global superstar. You have to travel. You can't fight just at home. So what Sean was saying, it used to be that way. It's not that way now. You don't have to come to America. And bottom line is, when you get to the point where you're making multi-millions, well, does it matter where you fight? No, what matters is who you fight, how often you fight, okay, those type of things. So for these guys to not want to be on a Saudi card, that's why I said, man, Bill Haney, focusing on Devin, doing what he's doing. He got a heavyweight now that he's calling that he wants to fight against Jared Anderson. I'm not familiar with the guy. I saw him, though, dark-skinned brother with braids in his hair, whatever. So I don't even know what he can do, But bottom line, that's what y'all need to keep the focus on. Putting these fights together, getting these fights out here to get their names up and get these fights cracking, man, and stop this whole going back and forth arguing with damn street dudes over nothing and jumping on here arguing with Adrian Broner and Baumgarten and all this nonsense. Like, focus on the fights, man. Let's keep the business moving. Stand on business. So This is what I'm talking about, man. And I'm making this, just trying to bring awareness, man, because you got real deal fighters who people don't even know. That's why you guys hear me talk about Frank Sanchez often, because I respect the dude's ability in the ring. But he's another guy who, it's like he's not well known like he should be. I'm going by your talent. I don't care about all this circus, choreographed nonsense. Let me pretend I hate this guy. Let me just say all types of stupid things to get attention. Frank Sanchez is another real deal fighter, man. So I feel like when your talents don't, go unnoticed like that, let's not forget, before this Saudi card, Frank Sanchez fought on the undercard, I think, Haney and Prograis, and the building was half empty when he fought. So this is what I'm saying to you. That's my point. Like, even like, for example, when for like what Sean Porter said about a new way, it's like, yo, you saying this about a new way. Dude, what about Frank Sanchez? What about these other guys who aren't from America, but they fight in America, right? And they're on people undercards, and nobody's in the arena when they're fighting. So for a new way, it would be different for him because he does have some recognition. He wouldn't be on somebody's undercard. He'd be in main event. You understand what I mean? Which means if he's coming out, even if he fights somebody on American soil, even if he fights an American, he still may be the star. Think about it. How many times have we seen an American fight against someone from another country, and you got the majority, more than half of the people in the building are from that person's country? You understand what I mean? How many times have we seen guys get booed their own home, like the country that they're from? You're from America, but you're fighting the Filipino guy, for example. They're booing you and cheering the Filipino guy, and everybody's waving the Filipino flag around or whatever. So, yeah, people just they just say things a certain way and they stick to it without really looking at what's really going on. So no, if that's the case, Frank Sanchez will be getting more popular because he's an action-packed fighter, action type of fighter. Yeah, he does have times, and look, nobody's getting perfect, man. He does have his times when in the later rounds he kind of just cruises, and but bottom line, he dominates, and he's a hell of a damn fighter. So we got Bivol and Beterbiev. So hey, man, I'm looking forward to that fight. In fact, so far, that's the fight I want to see more than anything else. Zhang and Wilder, yeah, that one I want to see. I feel like, for either guy, we'll see the direction they go. Like I said in the last video, Zhang and Wilder in the same exact position. The only difference is I believe the Saudis would lean more, like if Zhang wins, like I said in the last video, if Zhang wins, I feel like, I don't know, maybe they put him in there with AJ next, or I think more than anything it'll probably be a rematch with Parker. If Wilder wins, a rematch with Parker would be optional. But I believe that Wilder wins, they want to try to make him and AJ immediately. And that makes sense, in terms of, because he lost, look, Wilder lost one fight. All right. And so if he come back and beat Zhang, doesn't mean he beats Parker in the rematch, but that's what the rematch would be for. But I believe the fear of Wilder might lose again to Parker, right? It's possible AJ might lose to somebody. Who knows, right? So let's make this fight now, all right? And that's what I see with that. That's the only difference. But it's funny because, like I said, Wilder and Zhang are in the same exact position, to be honest with you. But that's the type of things, like, it's a lot. The one thing that's appealing about that fight is what's at stake. So, but in terms of the fight itself, I'm looking more forward to Bivol and Beterbiev overall. And I don't know who else is going to be on the card, but yeah, man, like I said, I watched Wilder and Zhang's their portion of the press conference, and I watched Bivol and Beterbiev. So that fight, I'm more interested right now than anything else that I did at that. Well, that's the only two fights I know of right now. And I'll dig into, the rest of the press conference and see who's who and who's doing what. But, yeah, the fight's here, man. And this is what we've been asking for. Let's just get the best fights put on, man. Like, damn, what's so hard about this? All these damn title eliminators, like no structure, the sloppiness of boxing as a business. Guys fight title eliminators and then they don't get the fucking fight for titles. Like, make that make sense. You know? So, it's here. Tell me in the comment section who y'all got, Bivol or Beterbiev. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.